streaming. Then see if it shows us streaming. And it looks like it's live now. And can I verify on YouTube? Yep, part B. Okay. That's so weird. But we're back now, so.
Oh, cool. So we're live.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's so weird.
Awesome.
But yeah, so each time from now on, new stream key. Now I know.
Hey, man,
If it works, it
whatever.
works.
That's what I'm freaking saying, right? You know, look, sue us, right? We're not the best at this, and that's okay because we're not charging for it either.
Yep. Not even monetized.
But before we get too far, introduce yourself, what you do, and why we're talking, and then I'll introduce myself a little bit, and we'll just roll right into it.
Yeah, so I'm Peter Sasson, president of Haptic Solutions Incorporated, and I want to get your senses into VR and games. So that's why we're developing devices for smell-o-vision and touch and eventually taste. And Grant?
Well, firstly, before we get into who I am, I want everyone to know if you don't know what Haptic Solutions is, there's an LTT video all about it. Right?
Yeah.
Peter can sit here and tell you all day, but Linus did a pretty cool video on it, and I think you all might like it. Let's have that linked in the description. So, Peter, don't forget to do that.
Yep.
But my name
Whenever.
is
Yeah.
Grant. I own 3D Musketeer. Some of the craziness you see behind me. My company serves to help people go from art to part, head to hand product development, right? And so whether you have an invention idea that you want to get off the freaking ground, or you are a business that is looking to solve that problem, such as my sales are taking too damn long, we're able to help you make that happen at 3D Musketeers. So Peter and I have been friends for a while here, and he invited me to come on, and it's like, well, hey, I like hanging out with you. You're a pretty cool guy. You do some pretty amazing stuff. And I have the time. My back hurts like crazy, so I'm not going anywhere right now. So we're just going to hang out, and I don't know.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Grant makes some awesome stuff, so go check out 3D Musketeers.
Appreciate it.
We should link that below too.
It's your channel. You're the one that has to link it.
Yep, yeah. I know. I'm saying once the video, you do that probably after the video. I'll go
Yeah,
back and
you
I'll
edit the
edit all the
video.
things after the stream finishes. So come back
And
if you're watching now.
and what I'm told is we should be keeping like a glossary of timelines so that you can put timeline into your video so people can skip around as they want. So let's say they want to hear about is, potential pricing increases. They
Yep,
can skip right to that part in the stream or into the video. We're doing it in all of our videos now. Um,
gotcha.
yeah, because YouTube is crazy, and of course, what do people want, right? Everybody wants something to be fast, simple, and cheap. Well, that means all of us, the content creators, have to do more work to make all that happen.
Yep, true.
To get nothing for the first few months, minimum. So, I'm at like almost 900 subscribers and like halfway through my needed watch hours. So, live streams are a great
Close.
way to get there because
Yep.
hopefully they get people involved.
So yeah, you have a new set of videos coming out soon. You said, I think.
Yeah, so we're doing some different content. We our channel kind of blew up because of cricket. We went from 50 subscribers to 800 in like a week and a half. And so what happened was our demographic, which used to be like 94% dudes, is now 80% women in their 30s and above. So our content can't be look at this cool printer and the things it does because it doesn't make any sense. So our content and they're our subscribers because they're telling us this, right? They're telling me what's going on. I'm hiding non-video participants, by the way, Peter. If you want me to not hide them, I can unhide them.
Wait, what exactly do you mean by that?
If you don't have a camera, your video gets hidden from the Zoom
Oh,
call.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then that way there's no like random people's names for no valid reason. They can still talk, we
Gotcha.
just won't see them.
Gotcha,
Um,
gotcha. Yeah,
but
that
yes,
makes sense. Yeah, the hiding non-video, but it looks like his video might be coming
yep,
up.
he's here.
Okay.
And like, here's the big deal, everyone that's watching this. If you want to see something from Peter, you gotta tell him. You can't just expect him to do it. So like, our subscribers were like, "Yeah, these printers are cool, but why the heck do I want one?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, how did I not? How did this not? Like, it's intrinsic to me why I want them because they're freaking cool." But that's not really a good answer, and so it becomes a little difficult. So we naturally have to transition our content to being something more that fits what our subscribers want for now, right? You have to get everyone kind of on that same train. And thankfully with Haptic Solutions, you guys, your niche is very specific. You know who your clientele are, right? You know, they're people that are attempting to buy 3090s and 3080s. They're people that, you know, wear VR headsets on their head when they're not actively using them.
They're people with big
Megavolt.
home theater systems and
Yep.
amazing D&D setups.
A la money to burn. Because
Yep.
let's be real, VR in itself is incredibly expensive, right? You need a $2,000+ computer to do it right. The headset's going to be another $800. And if you want to get further immersed into your games, and he's gone. If you want to get further immersed into your games, you start seeing what other senses can I play with. And the Cilia is amazing. It is how you can bring scent into your VR experiences, caveat for games and systems that support it, right? So it's not, I can't just
Yeah.
like plug this in a Cyberpunk 2077 and I get to smell the dirty city, right?
Right. Unless
It
you're a
has,
modder.
not only can my computer physically not handle Cyberpunk, I am not a modder. I have a 4770K that's overclocked with a lot of spice involved in it,
Right.
and a 1080 Ti. So yeah, CPU bottleneck all day, day. But my goal is to get to a point where I could start doing VR, primarily to do design work for people. But I've always said, you know, one of my big challenges with VR is there's no sensory feedback. And for people that get motion sick, VR can be a little straining,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing things with lots of quick motion in it, because you don't have a horizon line that you could look at and say, oh, okay, all right, it's a computer screen. I can't look above and see my lights. I can only see my computer screen. So that's kind of a big deal, and your system enables people to get that further immersion, so what they're seeing is also what they're smelling. And I'll be damned, it's pretty darn cool, right? Everyone that I've heard that has tried one absolutely loves it, and the price is killer. If you are thinking of getting one of these and you're wondering why is it $400, do you know how much it's like a 3-day 3D print?
We're working on getting that down, but yeah, currently it's like a 3 day, and then there's the work to put it together, like about 6 hours of labor. So all that
And it's
combined.
fully open source, right?
It's mostly open source. So the PCB design and firmware are the only things that aren't currently open source. But the firmware is or sorry, the PCB can be purchased, so you can repair your own cilia.
Are you planning to open source that? If you're not, that's totally fine. I respect people that don't want to because, well, all that hard work goes into somebody else's pocket. Creality, Triangle Labs.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like, it's something I think about. Yeah,
I mean, look, I get it. We're in this industry where open source or die is kind of the deal. but I'm not a huge fan of it. And here's why. I believe that you should have the ability to patent it, right? You've put a lot of time into it. And so why open sourcing something? I mean, Prusa sees the same problem. E3D sees the same problem. Slice Engineering sues people, but they see the same problem. And I don't blame Slice, right? Slice put a bunch of time and effort and energy into their mosquitoes and some of all their hot ends just to have Triangle Labs rip them off. And it's like, wait a minute, that's not how patents work. And what happens? The industry gets pissed off at Slice. I'm like, no, this is Slice's right. They've got thousands of dollars into this research, and if that's going to string me up on a poll for makers, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, we are business owners, Peter, and we have to look at what is best for us. And if we're going to sit there and say, all right, we're going to put millions and millions of hours of development and blood, sweat, and tears just for somebody else to make it cheaper than us and undercut us and take all the market, that's kind of just ridiculous.
I think I'd say my main goal would be to work full time at developing devices to add immersion to VR. So whatever that looks like, and that maybe eventually that is like all open source if it's sustainable.
That's fair. I spoke to David Stein on my podcast where we talked about this, and he said, there can be a way where you can maintain a patent, but still put it out there for a very, very, very small fee, and you
Right.
basically license it.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe it's a $1 licensing fee, but at least then you control who has the data. He said, so you get all the benefits of open source while retaining your intellectual property, because ultimately you kind of have three ways companies can go. You can continue to do it until the day you die and pass it on to somebody else. You can look at selling it, whether that's for a big chunk of money and you're told to F off, or
Yeah, I
it's
don't
for a
want that
small
latter,
sum.
that second one where they tell me to leave because then
Well,
I'm no longer working on it.
it's true. Or it's the, hey, we want to buy it, we want the IP, we're going to keep you on the board for a few years, but then you're going to have your exit. So a buy of some sort, or it just straight up fails, right? Those are the three ways that businesses go. It's sell, succeed, or fail.
Right.
And that's okay, right? And for those wondering, oh, I could do this better, do it. Freaking do it.
Yep.
I dare you. I double dog dare you. People don't understand how difficult it is to do something like this, and everything that it takes to make it happen. Even just to develop circuit boards is way beyond my skill level, and I'm decently skilled. So to see what you're doing with all this custom circuitry, I'm like, dude. Knowing that you're probably using KiCad, what are you using for your
Yeah,
design?
KiCad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Though I probably should be looking at Eagle at some point.
yeah, dude, because it's
Yeah.
in
I'll buy you a
Fusion
license.
360.
I will buy you a
Well,
license.
I have it with
Whatever.
Fusion. I just need
Yeah,
to drop the design in there.
from our experience, it's not the cleanest from KiCad to Fusion, but I was moving from one electrical engineer to another, so it was somebody else's work that this new engineer had to take over, and yeah, it got a little messy, but we got it sorted. It
Right.
just took a few extra hours.
Yeah, the nice thing with that is if everything's in that ecosystem, then like I can bring the boards in more easily. Uh, Bringing stuff in from KiCad into Fusion is a little bit more messy.
It
Ah,
is. Sorry, I am
it's gonna
working with
grab.
my team right now because they are actually awake and functioning, which is pretty cool.
So SendCut Send sent us these nice little aluminum pieces. So that's helping us get the water blocks a little bit more securely on our 3D printers here.
finally, things are all working.
You look like a cyborg, and I kind of love it.
That's how my life is. Um, so I don't think we actually met yet before. So obviously,
Well,
I'm
you haven't met the viewers either. So tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
well, my name is Peter. I'm an electrical engineer by trade. I also did a 4 degrees, 2 majors, one in engineering, one in theater costuming, then 2 minors in laser optics, laser boy over here, and also robotics and automation. I spent 9 years in college. I'm Mike Van Welder. Right now, I work for a company. Well, we do volunteer work for a company called Pack Spaceflight. They make pressure suits for companies I can't talk about. I can discuss more about later on if I get detail. Also, I work on the game Halo. I'm part of the sound effects team. I help them. I help them do all the explosion sound effects, high voltage sound effects, and high powered rocketry sound effects too. So I've got
Awesome.
some 12-foot rockets in the garage. My background from that is I got involved in Halo. So I 3D printed the world's first ever Halo costume. That's chief costume, and I got recognized by that. Got invited to meet some folks at the studio and took off from there. I'm 34 years old, and I'm just as a middle-aged engineering guy. I do 3D printing. I got into that kind of late though. I got into that 7 years ago. Hence why when I got into VR 3.5 years ago, I bought a Vive Pro, not a Vive. I wanted to go to the best you could get for money. No, money's not an issue over here. So got this, and well, I now use this for all my prototyping work. I do all my design work in Fusion, and then I visualize it and then refine it in some VR software I use, and then later on I print it. And it's been extremely powerful.
We talked a little bit earlier about my desire to be able to do CAD and that other style of modeling inside of VR because I am not an engineer. I have 2 business degrees. Most people don't know that because I don't immediately give off the fact that I'm not an engineer. I'm an engineer by practice, not by schooling. I've been working all day with a team of 3 other people from a local college. They're doing their capstone to help us upgrade one of our printers, the Z-axis from a triplet of lead screws to one big freaking ball screw. And we got farther than I thought we would. But I didn't think we were going to get very far. And I think they did a bang-up job, but it's like, yep. There's a big difference between working with, like, proper people that have been in this industry for years and college kids, because they're not unintelligent, but they don't understand some of the challenges that exist in this industry, right? They said, "Oh,
or
we can add
anything in real world.
Well, they said, "Oh, we can add this big stabilizer." I'm like, "But you just took away 200 millimeters of my bed travel."
Yeah, I've learned as a school being around for a long time.
We can't hear you. You're too far away from your microphone.
Oh, she's on the shotgun mic right here. System, the microphone at all?
Well, either way, it was interesting. And there was a lot of kind of weird engineering. And of course, I never have power problems. Ever. Like the last time I lost power for more than a few minutes was Hurricane Irma. Okay. We lost power for 2 hours today.
I think we have a lot of little brownouts here, so that's why I have all of them on UPS. Yeah.
I got battery backups powered by car batteries.
I'll do it better. I'm using my old Segway batteries as a high voltage DC bus line to backfeed my entire computer power supply. Works great too, because it's technically going to range the capacitors of the power supply. It's like totally overkill, but it's great. It's 1.2 kilowatt hours. So,
I just have lead
because
I can feed lead directly into a regular APC. It charges them
Oh,
as
it's
if
12 volt. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So my big APC that runs the printers is an APC 3000, so it's 48 volts, so it's just 4 batteries in series. The 1500 that runs my computer and what will be the resin printers, the resin cleaning, and that kind of thing.
Those are 24s.
That's going to be a 1500, so that's a 24 volt system. And they're both on car batteries. I had 4 Prusas running, didn't even care. I put my computer to sleep because I had like information that I couldn't lose. So I put that to sleep. It was fine. I left the Prusas running. It was great.
Could I ask? So on my laser cutter, it's on connected to a rack-mounted UPS, like a larger
Yeah.
one. Now it has two options if I want to shut it down, which I sometimes do. One of them's a delayed shut off, and one of them's no delay shut off. Do you think it hurts it at all if I do a no delay shut off? No. Okay.
My laser is not on a UPS.
Gotcha.
If I lose power when I'm running the laser, I do not want a UPS to kick over.
Okay.
And because, let's be real, you can just start the cut over again and nothing's going to change. You'll just end up recutting some areas, no big deal.
Well, if you're etching, it's
If you're etching,
Yeah.
I totally understand that.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I think it's happened to me once, and that's like, I'll just do it again.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have it plugged in more so out of convenience because I'm
That's
kind of
fine.
treating it like a power strip almost.
I mean, that's okay as long as you understand how much power that thing draws.
Yeah,
So you don't
yeah.
basically kill the UPS early.
Yeah, it's
I
got a
know-
load reading and it's nowhere near 100%.
Yep,
Right,
they don't
but
have those.
at 100%, you get like 30 seconds of battery.
Yeah.
More like 5 minutes on those things, but yeah, it's not great.
It depends on the size of the battery bank, of course, but
Yeah, it's got four, I'm not sure how many amp hour SLA batteries in it.
Probably the 7 amp hour little brick size ones. I have tons of those
Yeah.
here. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty.
yours are
Four of
7
them.
amp hour. Mine are 110.
one thing to watch out though. Keep in mind about those UPSs I've learned in the past by hacking them when I was a young warthog is the heat sinks on those things aren't designed for long-term thermal stress.
That is
Add
correct.
some fans because you'll
Yeah.
cook them.
Yeah, this one is
Also-
fan cooled.
Well, the rack mount ones are always fan cooled.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
got that. But the 1500s and the ones that aren't rack mounted, like my 3000 is a rack mount. It's not rack mounted. It's just kind of sitting on top of the.
Yeah, mine too.
um, if you use like a 1500 that's not, get an old style one that's not an inverter. It's a transformer, because those have built-in fans, and the transformer.
Not necessarily.
All the
It
ones
changes-
that I found that
okay.
were heavy
The
with
one I have down here doesn't have that. Mine's an iron core. It's about a BJT flip flop. Got iron core chunky down here. It ain't got no fan. I had to add it myself.
Huh.
Interesting. The 4 that we have here all have fans, but they're all from the same era, and they're all APC branded.
They're probably before APC got bought out by Schneider, which changed a lot of internal designs.
Well, right, because they went over to the inverter BS because, iron core, copper, expensive.
Oh, that. Actually, once I see a newer store, so iron core, but I knew.
Well, Schneider's.
I only. Well, the only reason I know this is that I modified one of the black Searcher style ones, 750-watt ones, for 12-volt use off of a large AGM pack back in my little apartment, and that was running my dual 12-core Xeon server, rack mount server, and I decided if it's going to run that, it's going to be a fan. So I basically took all the heat sinks off of the MOSFETs, put some new actual better heat sinks on the things, then put a stand of fans on there, and then I stress tested it, and it didn't get too hot. So I'm good with that.
And let me be very clear to everybody that's watching. Most likely, if you found this video, that stuff might make sense to you. But if it doesn't, just don't listen to it.
Yep.
Doing what we do is not safe, violates warranties, and unless you're
that's my
a
job.
professional, unless you know what you're doing, it can be dangerous. Oh, and there's the fire extinguisher.
$400 clean, $400 clean agent. I don't even buy. I buy CO2 and clean agent. No ABC here. I have one backup, but
ABC, I don't care. How many
We
the house
all
is-
no. You know why? I'm not going to put my test gear and kill my test gear. I've already killed one O-scope that way. The agent killed the board. I'm like, screw that.
It sounds like Alex Jones is on here because you clip your mic so much.
I love how we all
I'm on
have
I'm on this
fire
what's
extinguishers
weird?
within
Can you
reach.
turn the shotgun? Can you turn the game of the shotgun down?
Oh, probably. Oh, I know what it is. I haven't. this
What is
computer's
so
being dirt.
good about the clean agent? And this is from someone that literally I don't know.
Does it not leave residue,
I think-
right?
No, but I'll show you. It will not hurt anything around here. That's why. It was only a half use last week. I got recharged. I had a little mistake of a hot glue gun.
Freaking fire extinguisher.
Here, desktop.
Desktop.
Best thing is, check this out. Check this out. It's still in the green partly too. This will not leak if it's small uses.
Is it just CO2?
No, this actually is a halogen fluorocarbon. It's similar to air duster.
Huh.
So it works. It's just like halon. Well, the original thing is called halon. That kills the ozone. This is the replacement of the halon or halotronic in halon.
I've been in a kitchen when a halon system went off. It is a life-changing scenario.
Yes.
The
It
alarms
absorbs
go
all the
off, you
oxygen.
have 10 seconds to get out,
Yep.
or you better hold your breath because the halon is about to suck all the oxygen out of the air. And if you can't get out, you're gonna pass out.
Yep.
Oh, I can believe.
But it's great at putting out electrical fires.
It's great at putting out every fire because it removes the fire triangle.
I'm so sorry.
The only thing it doesn't work.
Metal in water, metal fire in water, because the oxygen's coming from the water, right?
Well, not only that, but also it displaces the air. So I went through the math in my lab area. I had to empty out 4 of these things before I actually decided, before I get into the, according to OSHA, too much area per whatnot thingy. I like it. I mean, it was a good investment, and I've used it once. And first time I ever used every extinguisher in my life, actually. It was like last week. I was like, oh, I'm glad I got this. My little hot glue gun is how you go full toaster.
Oh, lovely.
And by the way, I'm looking in the wrong direction. That monitor is broken, but I'm using my projector right now, and so I'm sorry. That's why it looks a bit weird here. I'm actually, different system, but they're great. CO2 is good too, and actually it's cheaper to refill than this thing is. It's like $10 refill. This is about $80 refill for the agent, but CO2 will thermal shock stuff. This isn't as cold as CO2. If I ever spray this on like a computer or whatnot, monitor,
if my
it won't thermal
computer's
shock.
on fire, I'm not really concerned about. Is this going to make it as long as
the
I can
drive. You want to save the drive, yeah.
The problem is that my previous computer before I sold it was a $5,000 iMac Pro. That's why I care.
If your computer's on fire, you have many worse things to worry about than how do I keep it from burning down the house,
I mean, if it costs me only slightly more money to get the right kind of toy, then really it's a smaller price to pay to keep that.
Oh, wow. So it is, CleanGuard is directly from Ansel.
Yeah.
Huh. Never knew.
It's called FM35 or whatnot, or 38, I think it's called. It's interesting stuff.
I want to see what it costs. Oh my God, they're expensive.
I know. It's like there you go.
Peter, take a guess. How much is a 5-pound one on Amazon?
As much as a RTX 3090?
It's not that expensive. Okay. It's $250.
Yeah, that's mine. Mine is I think that's a 5-pounder.
Yeah, you have a 5-pounder.
Yeah, it's 5-pounder. Yep.
So you had 300?
It's $250.
250?
Yep.
Okay.
I got my local. Also, I got a yearly maintenance contract price. I pay like $310, but
and I've heard it so many times by talking to firefighters. My brother happens to work at the local fire department. It is never the fire that does the damage. Fire, it's contained in one little area. It's the water cannon that you use to put it out.
Bingo!
You can salvage a hard drive that's gotten very hot. You have a very hard time salvaging a hard drive that's gotten very wet.
Curing temperature? Demagnetization?
Demagnetization being one of them. If it's getting that hot, it's gonna start melting things. But the water seeps into everything.
Oh, that. And again, I have waterproof hard drives.
No, there's those UPSs, not UPSs, NASA's that are like, they have those like special bricks around them, right? That like sweat, but I'm guessing it's not like water. It's.
I've seen those, and actually, I almost bought one.
My safe, a few of my safes have that, where it's a foam that when you get it hot, it just
Yeah.
expands and kind of gives you extra time, if you will. But
Yep.
So about that though, watch out. I ran into a huge problem. I was going to buy a media rated safe for my hard drives for my backup stuff. The problem is that they cost around $1,200 for a small safe because of the temperature ratings. Kindling for fire for paper is much higher than the temperature of warping CDs, flash chips that die, or demagnetizing hard drives. Instead, what I do is I keep a copy in a Pelican case here, and I keep everything also cloned in a bank deposit box for $40 a year down at a local bank. The chance of the bank burning to the ground, I mean, yeah, exactly. And the best thing is, now I can't get my drives on Sunday night, big whoop, but I'm also not going to get hacked easily unless you're breaking into the bank. Number two, my 2FA is called a bank door. I mean, it works out pretty well there.
So,
and the other thing about this, and also it's cheap, $35. I get literally a banker's box size volume to toss drives in. That's a lot of laptop drives, guys.
but how frequently do you visit? Like, how frequently do you back up? Like once a month, or?
I
will say it's between once a month and once a quarter, depending on what computer is and what I'm doing with it, basically.
Gotcha. Huh.
So what I do, Peter, is I use Macrium as my backup software. I tried to get the bank to let me run power to a safety deposit box, but they would not let me do that.
Yeah, I figured that they wouldn't let.
Because I'd set up a Pi. In there so I could just back it up over the net. But so I use Western.
Also a metal box, RF 101. I don't think it's going to work very well.
Oh, you'd be surprised what you can do with a little bit of time. I understand a Faraday cage, right? I may not be an engineer, but I know a thing or two about stuff and things. But some of the local bank vaults are not as sealed as you might think.
Huh.
But I use 8 terabyte drives. I just literally unplug the one, take it, swap it for the other one, plug it in. Macrium will instantly start a full backup. And I do daily differentials, weekly full backups of my spinning media, and bi-weekly backups, full backups of my SSD. It means I kill SSDs like every 1.5 to 2 years because I'm reading and writing so much, but it's completely worth it to make sure that I've got guaranteed data.
Yeah, I use Apple's Time Machine for all my critical stuff. On the gaming PC, well, it's mostly only for games, and that's Steam and the crap I don't care about, honestly. And then basically, every computer I own has 2 backups somewhere, one being here locally, one being out at that bank vault, plus also one drive for sure other things too if I need to, for like pictures I don't care about that may get leaked out or whatnot. And that works out pretty well. I had an accident in college where I had a RAID mirroring striping of my only computer from my college. And I was backing it up. We had a freak thunderstorm going through Iowa, and not only did it nuke the whole computer I was backing up from, it also nuked the backup copy. So it all went dead in one big poof. And I'm like, yo, drive savers. It was cheaper and they saved my butt. It was like $1,200. The class was taken was like $8,000. It was a master's course. I couldn't actually afford to lose the class. But the bottom line is that after that I learned don't leave drives attached, air gap them. People either their drives spinning. I'm like, dude, I can rat that drive, and if you ever have a power supply failure, and they push 20 volts down the 5-volt USB bus, you're cooking your entire drive. So air gap, put it back in the case. Other thing is a big one, is just keep it off site. Seriously, or even in the garage. Even if I have it in my part of my house near the garage, the chance of that burning down at the same time this does is still an order of magnitude less than my lab, which is right there behind that wall. So just a little bit being smart can go a long way.
Yep.
I don't know. After that one, near miss, I realized I need to back stuff up a certain way. The only one is Mac OS because of Time Machine.
If there's things you can cloud back up, then that's always an option too. Yeah.
True.
I was using Backblaze for a while, but it was so slow. It was so slow.
My previous home, I was on bidirectional gigabit fiber in Wilsonville, Oregon. I was only 800 feet from the main Sonnet node for the entire West Coast on I-5. It was great. I had bandwidth, but I moved down here to Eugene, where I got gigabit down and 40 megs up on Comcast, and they're capped cable. I'm not going to back up 4 terabytes. It's just no way. So I decided just to use the bank thing permanently and sneaker net things, if you will. And it works out.
If you're buying a domain or that, you have like, extra or domains, then you have like extra Google accounts with storage. And in my case, if you're paying for Office 365, then you get like a terabyte there.
The OneDrive plan, that's good. I use that a lot for actually all my video clips from my Xbox. Things that if they got hacked and leaked wouldn't be a problem for me.
My world is Windows, Android, Google. So it's Google Drive for me.
Google Photos is, where all my photos go pretty much.
That's why I love having the old school Pixels, because still get my unlimited backups.
That's a sweet deal for what that was. No,
you
I run.
Buy an old Pixel phone and just run your pictures through it.
Yep.
Put a lab server on there with an automated cron job. So where you just shove in a directory, just puts through the phone as a decoder box.
That's literally what you do. I'm buying an OG Pixel.
Reverse pie hole.
So the OG Pixels get full quality backups unlimited. The first gen Pixels. Everything after that up through the Pixel 4a,
they only give you like so many years or something, like my Pixel 2.
It's unlimited.
Well, I have unlimited lower quality.
Yes, it's high quality.
High quality,
honestly,
but not.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
it's good
it's good enough for me. Yeah.
Let me be frank. It's good enough for my thumbnails, which means it's good enough for me.
Yep.
But yeah, if you wanted unlimited full quality, get an OG Pixel and basically set up a server that instead of Google Photos talking to Google Photos, it talks to the other phone, and then that phone uploads to Google Photos. So I'm sure eventually.
So is there like a black market for like Pixel 1s?
No, you can go buy them from Swappa. They're like $90.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Take the battery out of them, right? So get rid of the lithium battery, because that was back when you could still do those kinds of things.
Yep.
And leave it on a charger. You'll be fine.
There you go. Well, now can you actually inherit that the unlimited backup if you get a used one?
It's attached to the phone.
Okay, it's attached to the phone.
Yeah, it's a hardware thing.
It's by the NIC or whatever. Yep. Well, now we all know. Everybody go get them before they're all bought up.
Let me see what they're selling for on Swappa right now. Of course. Oh, wow.
That's a big camera.
That's number one.
He's just flexing with $1,000 lenses.
Number two.
Wait, is that an old school camcorder? Or is that...
Oh, no.
Is it an NX5? No, it's a Canon.
Nope. Canon XL-HS1, Canon 1D Mark IV, and then I've got my current camera I use most of the time. I use a GH5 Micro Four Thirds because I love how conveniently small it is. But resolution, I cannot afford to lose my raw pictures. I didn't get this big boy to have things compressed by some Google AI. No. One does not simply shoot 30 MP raw and then have crunch compressed by Google.
So you need to get a Pixel 1 and then run it through that to get to your full res.
There you go.
Wait, did you find the price on Swappa? How much?
They're less than $100.
There we go. Uh-oh.
He's gone.
No.
Let me verify. No, he's here. Turned off his camera. Here, I'll stop hiding non-video participants because...
But I think it's still showing because I still see the little block.
He's still here, but he's hidden on my
It
side.
keeps crashing for some reason. I don't know why.
He's not hidden on my screen though.
Oh, really?
And I'm the streaming
Okay.
one who's streaming. I guess I'd have to set it on my side to hide non-video.
That's fine. I
It's
kind of
just-
like this.
Okay, I'm rebuilding this entire computer next week. So it's going to get a whole new OS and a whole new set of toys inside. A new case too. Finally.
Well, Peter, we're here to hang out with you. So what do you got for us? What's going on? Or
Well,
silly up, Peter.
Okay, so
What's going
yeah,
on?
this
Talk to us.
weekend I am trying to get a VR demo because
right.
yeah, a
That's
customer had
Peter.
requested that there be another VR demo because currently the only one that supports it is Adventure Climb VR of like a VR experience. So that's what I'm working on. I got some stuff off the Unity asset store and figuring out putting in some rivers and lakes and things. Is one of the smells is waterfall. So I also need to find a campsite for the coffee smell. I want to have like a percolator over a campfire for that. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do for the Egyptian musk. I could put in a pyramid. I don't know if that'll fit in a forest biome or not, but
Yeah,
any
I'm not
suggestions are
sure.
welcome.
Dude, I know so little about like smells and scent that I am probably pretty useless in this world or
uh,
version, right?
the most of them work nicely. So the fresh air, there's like plenty of like grass and flowers, so I can put that. Then there's pine scent. Now the trees aren't really pine trees, but I'm not sure that's that big a deal. And maybe worst case,
Right.
I can find some other pine trees on the asset store. By the way, spring sale right now. If anybody wants to get Unity assets. And let's see here. There's the waterfall, fresh mint. I guess I might, yeah, kind of put that with the plant, kind of the field plants as well. Yeah, but yeah, Egyptian moss. That's the weird one. And then this week, yeah, I got some more webcams, some light strips,
I saw that.
some more heater blocks. I need to change one on my one printer. I've tried to make it last longer, even like a belt sanding it and whatnot. But yeah, I think it's finally ready to be replaced. The filament's leaking out. So yeah.
Get a Prusa. I know they're too small, but you gotta get a Prusa, dude.
We need that XL, and I can't get banned because Matt's not on this call.
It is true.
Lols.
I would love to see the Prusa XL. And you know, it's funny because I was originally when they first said, "Oh, it's going to be a tool changer." I'm like, "Oh god, please Prusa, don't do this." Then I'm like, "Wait a minute. Prusa, do this."
Yep.
Because
If
tool
somebody's
changers
gonna do it right,
historically are not great, right? The E3D tool changer, some people have great experiences. I work so Brad R in Matt's chat, one of the younger kids, is a buddy of mine. He's actually a Make a Wish recipient. Really cool kid. Amazing story too. That kid's been through hell, like straight up, straight up hell. And he got a tool changer. Boy howdy, I don't know what the heck I am doing on that thing half the time. I'm like, I'm just gonna normally diagnose it. Oh, tool 2 isn't working right. Okay, well, how's the offset? Offset's fine. When I'm there, everything looks like it's fine. There's no issues. There's just some mechanical not perfection in it, and that results in some backlash. It's like there are good ways, there are bad ways, and E3D I think does it right. They very clearly state this is not a 3D printer. It is a motion platform. And
right?
if you're buying it, it's a badass motion platform. It's a tough to use 3D printer. And, you know, I'm curious to see what some other big YouTubers, ones that we know have one in their possession that we probably can't talk about,
There was one streaming
will
right
say.
before this. Are we thinking of the same one?
We are
since
thinking
he
of the
was
same person,
streaming.
but that was done outside of the business, if you
Right,
will.
right.
So I am
We'll just keep
excited.
it. Oh, sorry.
Look, that's vague enough. No one knows what the hell we're talking about. I am excited to see what these people say
Yeah,
because I'm guessing they're going to have as many, if not more, problems than I've had. I think the tool changer really does kind of require a full time person. And so I look at what's happening with what Prusa wants to do. I guess I'm a little concerned. So,
would you rather see them have a tool changer or a belt on a printer?
neither?
Neither? Okay. So just an XL that's basically a larger Mark
Just
III.
give me a larger Mark 3S. Yes,
Yep.
that's what I want. Uh, I mean, a tool changer's cool, but like, I don't necessarily, other than soluble support, which I would probably get into if I
Yeah,
had options
same.
for a tool changer. Um, I don't know what I would do with more than like 2 or 3 tools.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, yeah, I'm probably the same. The most I'd do would probably be one flex, one solid material, and one dissolvable.
but like, you can run flex in a solid tool head. I mean, there's no. I'm told the Hermeras are god for running flex. Brad has 4 of them, so I'm gonna have to see how far he can crank. I might have Brad start to do more flex prints for us, because if it really is that good,
Now, what do you think of? So on our printers here, we have the little water cool block uh, connected up to our Bowden. But they sell those, and they probably sell them for air cooled too. But they sell water cooling blocks with not just one, but they also sell ones with 2 or 4, so you can have 4 Bowdens coming in for 4 material. Is all basically coming to the same water block from four
oh, the
different
diamond hot
steppers.
ends, right?
No, it's you have four nozzles on a single water cooled hot end, and you have
Okay,
I
four
saw that. I
Bowdens
saw
coming
that.
into
I
it.
saw that.
freaking See Me CNC did this with their
So
Cyclops,
so you
right?
don't
You
really
saw
need to
Cyclops
tool
was second here.
change because all of your nozzles are right there on the same hot end.
I think there's benefit to that, but when you're dealing with materials that need vastly different temperatures, you will have a heat creep problem.
B-
Why do
it-
you
Yeah.
have your machines water cooled?
So I wanted to print in some higher temp like ABS, ASA, and so I had built an enclosure so
Yeah,
that the parts wouldn't break apart.
right.
And once I had finally built that enclosure and was actually adding in extra hot air using a ceramic heater, then the
Oh, okay.
heat
You
creep
were
would go up and melt the Bowden tube. So I realized air cooling wasn't going to work. And then I went on Amazon and found a little $35 water cooled hot end
works
that
great.
you just have 2 more PTFE tubes coming from a reservoir with a fish tank, and hey, it works great. So, and I like the non-creality style heat break that's in it. So even though my other 2 CR10s here aren't in enclosures yet, I still have them converted over to the water cooled hot end with a better heat break.
Hmm. I mean, I've got there's a Fusion 3 F410 up here. That's enclosed, but it's not heated, so I'm not actively heating it beyond what bed temp
Is it
is.
direct drive?
No, it's
Okay,
not.
it is
It's
Bowden.
Bowden.
Huh.
I
Hmm.
wish it was direct drive. I think that's one of the weaker sides of that printer, but I know why they did it, and I agree with their ruling, which is you can move so much faster with a Bowden
Yeah.
than you can direct drive, and that's great. But I can't get PETG to not string when I'm running like 150 millimeters a second print speed. I'm also
Gotcha.
running like 272 on the nozzle to get that kind of temp. So it's interesting. And I love the printer. It does amazing parts. Full disclosure, I do get paid to resell those machines. So we make a small commission when we sell one of those machines. Um, but I love the Mark 3Ss. I love the minis. I got 4 minis now, 8 Mark 3Ss. I don't have an SL1 anymore. Got rid of that. I'm using just Elegoo products at this point for printers. The SL1 from Prusa is better. It is ostensibly better than a Elegoo Mars. I got offered purchase price for my SL1 in whatever condition it was in. Resin in the tank, whatever I had it in, they wanted it. I'm like, take it. Don't need it that bad.
Yeah.
I can get another one. But the SL1's a great printer because of the vat that kind of, sags down every layer change, which is cool.
Oh
but
my!
Is it 7 times an Elegoo Mars cool? No, it's not. So I'm hoping that Prusa will come out with a bigger resin printer that's going to be more competitively priced.
Yeah.
Because the bigger resin printers in general are more expensive, right? Your Elegoo Saturns are $500. I've got 2 of those. I haven't had a lot of chance to play with them yet. I bought them in January, and I have not had a chance to really mess with them. I bought them when they were really starting to get popular. I said, let me put my refresher onto that. And I did an unboxing, and then I reboxed it off camera, and it's been sitting because I am redoing my office. The shelves you see behind me is also what I'm sitting at now. I used to actually have a desk. I no longer have a desk. It's all shelves. So I think a lot of the filament is going to go up here above me. Although it's really nice that now I can hang my lighting from the shelf above, which is pretty nice because I've got, the recording lights. But some weird things that you don't expect, like I had to get a new monitor mount because my monitor mount didn't fit. I could not find a microphone mount that would fit, so I 3D printed, this is version 1, a thing to fit. It fits like this on the shelf. This is the size for a Prusa spool holder. And so if you look, there's one back there, then there's one directly above me that are printed parts that hold kilogram spools so that I can take them off the top of the printer, because I believe that's ridiculous, having the printer carry that weight. It's just unsprung weight that you don't need. It's the Dolly Parton effect. They're way too top heavy. Never heard somebody say that? And because they're forward, I can have them lower, and they don't get in the way of the print.
Thank you for that.
I'm here to please, man. That's what I do.
How many or can they also hold the larger 3, 5, etc. kilogram?
I've never tried. I guess the issue might be the diameter of that spool versus the kilo spools.
Right.
I would guess it could. But yeah, if you send me a diameter, I can check it. I mean, or radius is fine too. It might work, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, at some point I probably need
Why
to
is this
start
thing
using.
always being so derp?
I've used 5 kilogram before, but I'd like to get back to using 5 kilogram eventually because less run out issues.
Don't you have runout sensors?
No, not right now.
Fix that.
Yeah, but
I mean,
yeah, if using a combination is probably the best.
all my machines have runout sensors. Except the Taz. The Taz 6 doesn't have them.
Now the problem, if it runs out, it would have to cool down, right?
Nope. Printer goes into pause.
Right,
The
it goes into
Fusion cools
pause.
down,
Now
which I disagree with.
the
But
hot
the
end
Prusas
should
don't.
probably cool down though if you're not around for so amount of time.
After 15 minutes, the Prusas will cool down, or maybe it's 10. The Fusion 3 immediately starts to cool down.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the bed needs to stay hot. Because
Yes,
the
beds
problem
will
is
stay
if
hot.
the bed doesn't stay hot, the part can come off.
Correct.
And
yes, the beds
yeah.
stay hot, but the hot end itself cools.
Now, I think the CR10s also sometimes have troubles like getting back to where they were if they pause. Or at least I've had some troubles with that. I mean, sometimes I get
Why?
lucky, but sometimes they just get slightly off, and then like the print just doesn't look right.
That sounds like you're having a skip step issue.
Could be. Well, I don't know, like it because it goes to home, right? So it might be kind of confusing itself by homing, and maybe
Oh
the
no, I don't
homing
have it
isn't
go to
exactly.
home.
No, I think that's what the CR10 does if you pause the print, though, is I think
And
it
that would
goes
be,
in
yeah,
homes.
because if it's not triggering at precisely, and that's why I don't like when printers do that. The Prusas will go up if they can, or move away if they can't
Right.
go up. The Fusion 3 goes into a park zone that it has. That's kind of like off in the back. The Taz doesn't give a damn. It just keeps rolling. Minis, I haven't tried that yet. I haven't had a time to do it.
But
And
I'm
it's
guessing
not
that could all be
often.
changed by reflashing the firmware, like with a different firmware that tells it to go somewhere else
I
when
would guess
paused.
that it could. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I don't often use. I don't use Creality products at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I did a video on all of this. I believe they serve an amazing purpose in this industry, but they're not really my dig, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I know. My first printer was actually a printer bought Junior, little ARM based one I got for free when someone gave it to me. Then I went out and bought a Flash Forge Dreamer as my first investment machine, which I've ran now for the last 6.5 years, and I love to death. Oh, I think she's ready to die again, so I'm going to replace it pretty soon. And then I've also got a Raise M2 Plus. No, sorry, Rostock Max V2 that I hate it because when it gets out of alignment, it will then knock prints over, not just cause displacements, which is a big problem for me.
It's a
So I
Delta.
gave it away. Well, yeah, there's some pros and cons. But I actually, for what I use it for, originally for gun barrel stuff, for Halo props, it was perfect. That kind of the tall, long parts, great. Then for I'm buying soon. I have two options. Either I can buy a Raise M2 Plus for $5,000+, or actually, I've had such good luck with FlashForge as a company. I'm looking at getting the was it the Creator 2? Okay, the Guider 2 S, the $2,500 high temp one. It fits my needs. It's a little larger print bed, and it's fully enclosed. And I like that. I don't like this open frame thing. To me, it's not my thing. And also, their software is pretty well written and it's stable.
There are some downsides to the open frame. I've got one enclosed printer. The rest are all open frame. There are some downsides. I don't disagree with that. I just don't know if the added price that you end up paying for an enclosed printer that isn't going to also temperature regulate is kind of ridiculous.
Well, but it does. It's got a thermostat, and all the exhaust fans around thermostat, so they ramp them down, even internal printer. That's where I've been. Even the Dreamer does that. It's kind of
So
nice, actually.
how much of the price is that, and how much of this the price of like the large Voron if you make that one?
Oh, the large Vorons are like 2,600. But remember,
That's that much, and how much is this one?
about the same.
Okay,
But
and their print volume's comparable, or
you're forgetting the amount of time you have to put into building a Voron
the Voron takes yeah,
and sourcing the parts
yep,
and waiting and
yeah.
troubleshooting.
I mean,
You
like
are a
I
business
still
owner.
need to finish my MPC and
Same
C.
here.
Like,
Money to me is time is money.
yeah,
I will pop out $2,000 if it works for the next 5 years. $2,000 to me is a freaking write off.
this MPC
Yes,
and C has been taking me a while because I have to find time to actually print the parts for the MPC and C amidst like
So
printing the Cilias.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say you probably shouldn't get a Voron
Yeah, I probably shouldn't
unless you bring in somebody
to build
to
it.
source, buy, and build it for you.
Yep,
Which I would guess would probably cost you about another $800 to $1,000.
yep. On top
I
of the
guess.
price, yeah.
But Vorons really are that much better, I think. And I'm still kicking myself when we built our big D-Bot that we didn't do like a 2.6 or one of the larger Vorons because it would have been a better move. But to get the build volume that I was looking for, it would have been over $5,000, and I built a D-Bot for less than $2,000. There are some problems. The damn thing shakes like Michael J. Fox when you run it at any speed. And now that I've forgotten how to program freaking duets, because I don't remember how to do that, when we did all the upgrades today, we didn't end up getting them installed, but we went to, like, home the printer. The BL Touch is freaking out. I don't know why, because I don't remember how to actually work on BL Touches. I'm like, you know what, guys? Just take the linear access that you need to the school and show them that you did it and all that jazz. I can jive with that. But we're not getting it on the Sprinter today. They were bummed. Oh, and you'll love this. This is my cordless my cordless milling machine.
Oh, nice.
It's a rigid Job Max, but of course we lost power for 2 hours today, which never happens. I have not lost power this long in years. I have 3 people over from a local school. We're trying to get work done. Power goes out. I'm like, cool beans. So the milling that they had done at their school was really bad. Like, it was very clear that they zeroed twice. So they did some holes, they flipped it, and then they did the holes again, but they didn't zero off the same corner. So the stuff is a little bit cattywampus. So we had to go in there and drill it out. Well, okay, I laser cut some
jigs.
Acrylic. I laser cut some acrylic, jigs to try to drill it. Drill bit still walked. So, okay. What's our next step? I've got an X carve. Means I've got bits. Power's out. Great. So I have this cordless. It's a router, right? It's
right.
A cordless router. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Let's do it. So this is a carbide 4-flute, 3.175 millimeter diameter end mill. I will be damned if this thing did not work a treat. Now, it's now only a 2-flute, because it has definitely broken the cutting tips on 2 of the flutes.
Oh, no.
I used to buy these in 10 packs for like $6 on Amazon. I do not care.
Okay.
Yeah. The end mills are cheap. If you buy 1/8-inch end mills, they're dirt cheap. Or they used to be. But, like, we were sitting there and just hard milling. And honestly, I'm thinking this is gonna be a nightmare. It's gonna look like garbage. It came out, honestly, pretty damn good. I was really surprised. I was really surprised that we didn't break a bit. Yeah, we broke cutting edges off, but we weren't doing a lot of, like, face milling. It was all, like, shaft milling. So I was pleasantly... I've never really used this tool. It's a multi-tool.
Huh.
So it's got different heads. So I've got a...
So it's also like a reciprocating saw and a few other things?
Yeah, oh, look, it's got it on the front. Okay, so... Ooh, it's got an angle ratchet. I gotta get that one. It's got a recip saw. It's got an angle drill. It's got the vibratory cutter, which I do have.
Gotcha.
It's got a shear, so a metal shear. Like
oh, those are
Ooh,
nice. Yeah.
That's handy.
But, like, it's one... It doesn't have a lot of throat, so it can't go very far, and it separates the metal, where one gets pushed down. Yes, similar to that. But it's... Instead of having 2 teeth on the outside and 1 in the middle, it's just 2 teeth. And a jigsaw. So, I got this as part of a kit that I bought. And, I didn't really use it for much, because vibratory cutters are kind of eh. But, I'm glad I have it now.
Yep.
And I didn't... It literally just came in a kit. I didn't need it. But worth it. Totally freaking worth it. Now I'm going to go on and see if I can find the heads for it. Because I want more of them.
Gotta collect them all, except for the reciprocating, or not the reciprocating, the vibratory.
I've got the vibratory. I don't
Oh, okay.
want
Well,
the
you're gonna catch them all.
reciprocating. That one
Oh,
doesn't.
okay.
I
Huh.
have I have recip saws. I don't need
You
it.
need a one, oh, another one. Yeah.
The
Gotcha.
jigsaw is nice. Ooh, it's a right angle impact, and it has a right angle drill driver. I don't know how much I would use those. Oh, dang, it's not a socket. Is that a right angle drill driver and not a socket? I've been bamboozled, gentlemen.
No.
No, man, that's... No. I I don't know, man. Maybe I've been bamboozled. I don't know. I would love to have a right angle ratchet on it. Because I don't have an electric ratchet anymore. And they are honestly one of the most useful things that you can
Yes.
have. Although I guess if you have a right angle impact driver, you also have a right angle ratchet. It's kind of the same thing. Same, but different, right? I don't know. It was an interesting day today. My back hurts like crazy. I don't normally do that much physical effort. And that's a weird thing to say because it makes it sound like I was doing a ton of work, and I wasn't. My body just could not keep up with it today. But I've got 2 herniated discs, so it is a little bit different for me. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I am excited because I think there's so much coming. Once you get that MPCNC, dude, your life is going to change. I don't know how
Yep.
much you're going to use it, honestly. Like, what do you see yourself using it for?
It's gonna be mostly for the foam packaging. It's just gonna be cutting pockets.
You're not
Lots
going
of
to laser.
pockets. If I get a bigger laser. So at the end of the year, we're moving places. So I'll have more freedom to do what I want with the garage. So I might at that time go to like 100 watt or something.
Now, would you have a question? Would you have a use for a 200-watt epilogue?
Yes.
Okay. I
Who
know.
wouldn't?
Well,
How?
my old community college is trying to sell theirs, and I like I will hook you guys up because
How much?
it's been used by a school for the last 10 years. So if you tell me, not a lot.
I'll give
You're
him.
up in the
At the
northwest.
school, this is over at IHTC, Indian Hills Community College, is a they have optical classes
How
there.
much would it cost to transport that to?
A grand.
Well, that's the thing.
A grand.
No, not necessarily. No, I shipped over 800 pounds of stuff from Iowa back to LA where you live. It wasn't $200 in the Amtrak as their pallet shipping. As long as you palletize yourself, certain stations they'll just load a pallet back with frame feed. Literally, it's dirt cheap.
Huh.
Officially, no electronics or liability, but these guys aren't UPS. They're not complete fools, so it's treated with more care from what I've seen, at least from my experiences.
Huh.
But just a thought. So they have one. I noticed they're trying to get rid of it because they got donated a bigger one.
Yep.
I'm like, okay.
It's a good problem to have.
That college is well done up. So that's why I have that. I built my own CO2 tube when I was there, which probably put a hole in the dorm room door. I got the HR, the OC backwards that night, and well, instead of it hitting the beam block, it hit the wooden door.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we cannot have nice things.
No, of course not. I'm also the guy who was ham radio, managed to make the entire school evacuate because it somehow inducted enough energy into the loops of wires they use for all the emergency pull stops for all the fire detectors. And somehow I thought someone pulled the fire alarm, but they didn't. It was 5 watts on sideband. What the hell? That shouldn't happen. But there you go. That was a fun school. I can nice things. Well, that's true.
But yeah. I think at the end of the year, yeah, whenever I'm all settled in at the other place, yeah, a larger laser would be nice. And the only thing with that is I'm gonna have to make that like a two-part thing and epoxy it together or whatever. Um, with the laser, it'll punch all the way through, so I'd probably have like a inch of EVA cut and then glue it onto like a quarter-inch sheet of EVA. So that's what that'll kind of
Actually,
progress
come,
into.
come to
But
think of it,
for now, yeah, just doing pockets on the. Well, currently out at the makerspace on the big multicam, and then once the NPC is put together on that. Yeah.
I guess my issue
um,
with EVA is keeping it from kind of deciding it wants to be in another galaxy, right?
Wait, what?
How are you going to hold it down?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's probably gonna. So there's kind of two options. So one would be to, basically make a custom jig uh, that like just holds it in place, or two would be get the little vacuum pods potentially, and just line them all up to fit underneath the EVA inch and a half foam. Or
So I just noticed that Megavolt Peter posted some pictures in your Discord,
yep.
and funny enough, the individual that's in it used to be my boss. His name is Jeff.
wait, what?
Yes. Jeff Easterling.
Oh,
Well, I
hey.
wasn't going to give out his last name, but yes.
Yes. Oh, no, it's Graham. We know who it is.
So y'all both
Everyone knows who
know y'all both know this guy.
Yeah, he used to live in
he is.
Tampa.
Oh, cool.
Hey, that makes sense. A long while ago, probably then. Before he's no longer in Tampa. That was like,
Yeah, now he's
no,
with 343.
yep. And so am I as a volunteer. It's kind of crazy how it works out. Small world. This whole thing is.
Jeff is an interesting gentleman.
Oh, he's so awesome. Oh, he is. Poor guy broke his foot right before HOD last 2 years ago. That's unfortunate. But that costume you see in that picture, those are the costumes I built. That's why I use my printer for mostly.
That's what I figured, given,
And
the,
Yeah.
given
you
the conversation.
you can't casted some of the parts in like polyurethane, right? Which was one of the
Nope.
things. Oh, okay. It was some other costume we casted some things in polyurethane.
Not no. So no, not polyurethane. No, the shins on the Golden Elite were printed. Then platinum cure silicone. Let's move on. Then cast out of glass and laid in glass and epoxy.
Gotcha.
They're symmetrical and they're mirrored, so I said I would print them once. But everything else in the suit's all printed from scratch.
So
You
which
could-
kind of epoxy? Just
I
two
just
part?
know I got you're resident hardener basically. You're resin and your kicker. Your little droplets.
Gotcha.
Blowhole
With
stuff.
glass fill.
I just use the outside. I just use standard. I first put some layers on it, just resin, let it cure up, so he's smooth as a gel coat, reverse gel coat. Then I just laid in the random matting, did that for 2 layers, and then I just used strips of the woven as the inside there, and worked out great.
Sweet.
About a day of cure time, I had the whole thing done, and that thing is tough as nails too, and it's light. It's like $15 materials too. Versus
Not
like
bad.
5 rolls of filament for the print and 180 hours for one shin.
That is
That
the
whole
problem with 3D
suit,
printing.
that whole suit was 1,800 hours of print time, and 22 boxes of plastic. Not all consumed, so I really can't splice. So I only use like 2/3 of a box before I have to give up that roll because
Yep.
that whole thing.
Oh, I know.
I know. On the other hand, I got tons of scrap I had for months afterwards, which is great. But that was kind of fun, and those suits sell for around $3,000 to $4,000. So it's pays for the materials, but not necessarily the time. But it's good. A lot of fun though. A lot of fun with the fitting. That was my main challenge, having it fit on a person's body, and that's why I use VR and body scanning. So that person's costume was done by putting him in a spandex bodysuit, having him extract a pose at a 3D scan facility here in Portland called Digital Scan 3D. They use one of the rotating booths. You get a 5,000, you get a 500,000 polygon file from them. I slap that bad boy into VR, take the armor files when they're in A post, hold it on them, rescale my hand, take them off on their body, dump that in a blender, surf the heck out of it, so it's actually looking high quality for once. Solidify it up, pop it in the fusion to add fusion fusion, mesh mixer, dice it up, then put on the printer. And for the next year, basically, you're printing off parts and assembling them.
I mean, that's a lot of work. I think my biggest print was 45 or 50 kilos, and I was very done with that by the time. But it was also like a paid customer that I really didn't understand what my time was worth back then. And yeah,
Same here.
on it.
I mean, if I was to charge as a printing product, it would have been a $15,000 device. But as a custom, it's basically a fursuit equivalent. That's a scaling character.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Looking at it that way, the average Halo costume, by the way, just sells for $800 to $1,200. Me getting more than three for a costume is considered to be like buying a Ferrari. It's rare as hell. So I don't feel so bad knowing what my colleagues are making for the same kind of thing. But and that suit's got water cooling. It's got in the helmet a backup camera with LCD screen inside. It's got fans put air in and out. The filters vibrate. They've got outside sensors, so they'll vibrate if you go too close to the walls. Fingers move, the jaws move. They're all done. It's also a built-in voice changer, and also a Vox radio in there too. So the character can talk to the handler. They need help getting around.
That's kind of nuts.
Cool. So we're gonna call this probably the last 10 minutes. So.
And Peter, you and I were gonna go and jump in the Neo at some point in time, correct? Today.
Yeah. We'll do that after the.
Perfect.
Yeah, after we conclude the live stream. Oh, Neos. It's VR. Do you want to talk more about that?
Sure. So you've all heard of VR chat, right?
Yep.
So imagine VR chat made lots of Blender, Unity, AutoCAD, and Gary's Mod Second Life. I had a child.
I'm gonna say nope. Not because I don't want to, but I don't need another freaking hobby that's going to burn all of my time.
That's me! 8 hours a day! I mean, literally, I don't work in the software. That's what I use it for. It's amazing because I can bring in an STL or OBJ and FBX, anything I want, even step files too, right into the software. I can work with them, export them is the same thing. I mean, literally, I become Iron Man. And for human-worn things, right now I'm working on spacesuit parts, but for cosplay or anything you put on a body, be able to, like you're dressing someone else in actual costume design, to be able to touch things on their body, move things around, has been a evolutionary game changer. So
and that's what you jumped into earlier on the stream, right?
Correct. I'm still in there right now.
I saw that.
Watching. So it's cool. The software is free for personal and even light professional use. It's extremely stable, and it's the only piece of software I've ever used in my life where developers actually truly, I feel, care about the end user. Something you want in Neos, put in their GitHub, give it 2 weeks, it's probably going to be there. The experience of how they develop for their users is polar opposite of the entire industry of software development I've ever dealt with in my life. It's kind of refreshing, to be honest. And it's generally, we've had 2 crasher incidents in 4 years, unlike the AirTouch constantly has problems. It is one of the most, it's more stable than Windows is by an order of magnitude, which is not saying much these days, but I'm just saying, it's technically in beta still. I mean, it's just great. And
we'd love to get smell into it.
Exactly, and I'm going to pay for whatever it takes to do that, because here's the thing, too.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I want, smell in VR chat. It's going to be stinky. That's all I'm saying.
Now keep in mind, that's one of the wonderful things about having a device like the Cilia is you only put in the smells you want to smell.
Ah, okay.
And you don't put in any of the ones you don't.
Smelly smell that smells smelly. I can go with just the ones that I
No, you can avoid it. You can avoid the smell of Comic-Con and Musky Husky and BO.
God.
We're going to find out later.
Comic-Con. I swear to God, Mr. Sassman, if you bottle the essence of Comic-Con, I will never come onto one of your live streams again. Or I might buy all of your inventory to screw with people. I honestly don't know where I'm at.
I mean,
You got a
so
point there.
so I have like skunk. Well, I mean, that's already pretty bad. Um,
The essence of Pepe Le Pew.
yeah, like basically, like literally, it's from Bass Pro Shop. Like it's a little bit of that
Really?
mixed into like scentless coconut oil, carrier oil.
I've got a horrible joke. If you plop a Tesla in VR, does it smell like Elon's Musk? Folks, you can shoot me now. My puns are
No.
horrible.
No, it does not.
No, it is not.
But yeah,
I'm a horrible person.
they have like a number of like real like animal scents at Bass Pro Shop, and one of them is skunk. So
That was not something that I would have expected.
yeah. Well, so they're like they have like cover scents, and then they have like scents that like attract. Like there's scents for like I guess if you're hunting that help with different things.
Yeah, yeah.
And
no,
so one of
that's-
them is skunk, and actually I think the deer are okay with it. So like the deer like will actually probably go towards the skunk smell
Again.
to like maybe because then they'd avoid
Or
predators.
maybe it's like to keep some of the predators at bay. That's my mind was going to predator avoidance rather than deer attraction. But I mean, I live in Florida. I mean, you're in Texas. I don't know. I don't understand hunting. Like
I don't really understand it either. But the fact that they have like actual like animal sense, like some people want that in a VR experience. So
I mean, look, if immersion is what you're going for, I'm down.
Yep.
I'm 100% down. I think it's dope. I want to, and I want to see people enjoying that. However, you kind of have to. You kind of have to be careful.
yep.
Right? Because ultimately, your product could be used for pranking people. And that's something I've always been like,
I mean,
don't know.
so I could see if somebody bought a scent and then invited people over and then like oh it's all gonna be nice smells and then they put skunk in theirs just to prank all their friends and the friends are like I knew smell-o-vision was gonna be terrible or I don't know.
I mean, that would worry me, of
Yeah.
course, right? It's kind of the same way that, like, when your first printer's an ANET A8, you're likely not going to like the 3D printing industry. But if your first printer is something that's decent, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a Prusa. It should be. And they don't even pay me to say this. I have been telling Daddy Prusa in all of my podcasts, sponsor me. It's good Lord.
Yep.
I am responsible for well over half of the Prusa sales here in Tampa Bay because of how much we talk about them. But, I mean, I would love to see it more. I mean, hell, even just so I could, like, you know how Glade has the ones that kind of change scent every now and then? I want one that I can change based on what I'm doing, right? It doesn't need to be in VR, but just something to, like, something with some energy to it so it's different. Or something to cover up the smell of ABS.
Yep.
Styrene.
So once we
styrene
get
eraser.
so that's kind of on the roadmap is to have the wireless version of the Cilia eventually, and once we have that, pair that up with an app on Android and iOS, and there you go. It'll just cycle through the scents. Or like you said with the mood, you could be like, "Hey, Alexa, hey app," or is it Siri on Apple?
I don't know, I'm
Hey.
Android.
Just hey Google, or okay Google, and just say what scent you want for what you're doing, and there we
You've now
go.
just set off everybody's phones that's watching the chat.
Oh no,
no,
I did set off Google on my phone. Sorry everyone.
I think it would be awesome to see that kind of an integration. Not just so I can change the scent while I'm working, but also so I can just like one click set a mood.
Yep.
right? You know, no matter what that mood is, I can one click set a mood, right? If I'm having a tough day, I just need to relax, click on that relax, and you know, maybe there's
Lavender or
IFTTT in there so the lights dim down, some music goes on, something that's like more relaxing. A robot brings me a drink. I don't know. It's like the
yep.
world, my world future. It's like a miniature Joseph Prusa that I've printed comes and brings me a drink. You know, dumb things like that. But no, dude,
Awesome.
I think you've got so much potential here. You're only going up, and I'm excited to see where sent inside of VR and then sent outside of VR goes, and further where haptic solutions go. So if you're interested, you got to get those links in the that description so people can follow you,
Down
so
below.
we can see where to get to it, because this stuff's overtly pretty freaking badass. And people that don't know about it don't know about it. But the ones that do, they get it. Right? I've seen one of your developer kits. I've worked with one of your developer kits. I can't use it because it does mean, yeah, I don't have the ability to, but I've been around somebody that has. They're so cool. And it really is like that extra level of, oh, whoa, whoa. It's like you got to give yourself a couple of minutes to readjust the fact that now all of a sudden my other senses are being involved here. And of course, with the haptic gloves and so much more that you're working on, dude, I am both excited and incredibly concerned for what it would look like to be, you know,
In Ready
fitted
Player One
out
or
with the haptic solutions kit. It's basically going to be me as a robot, but honestly, I look forward to that day.
awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna end it because I gotta go. It's almost 10:30 p.m. my time, so
Well,
I
thank
am
you.
exhausted. I've been working with college students since 10 a.m. this morning. So I'm going to bed.
Oh, yeah, get some rest. Thank you for coming on, and thank you everyone for watching. And we'll hopefully see y'all next week.
Yeah, guys, take care.
Take
Have a
care.
good one.
Bye.